happy day, oh glory be. Hello boys and girls, this is Chaplain Scott Savell sharing some random musings with you today. Some theological musings, if you will, just a few thoughts I've been pondering lately. But before we go any further, if this content is helpful to you in your journey with Jesus, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. That really does help get this out to others. Today's musings come from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 18. Listen to these words. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten God who is in the bosom of the Father, he has explained him. John begins where all true theology must begin, with humility. No one has seen God at any time, and the Bible tells us why. In John chapter 4, verse 24, Jesus says, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. God is spirit in his essence. He is invisible, infinite, and beyond human discovery. The Apostle Paul echoes this in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 16, where he describes God as the one who dwells in unapproachable light, whom no man has seen or can see. If God is to be known, he must make himself known. And John tells us that he has done exactly that. Returning again to John chapter 1, verse 18, the only begotten God, the one who reveals God, is not merely a spokesman for God. He is himself divine, unique, eternal, and of the same nature as God. But John does not stop there. He continues, the only begotten God who is in the bosom of the Father. Here we encounter distinction without division, relationship without separation, and intimacy without inequality. The one who reveals God exists in eternal fellowship with the Father, not as a rival, not as a lesser being, but in perfect communion. And then John concludes the verse with these words, He has explained him. The word John uses here is rich with meaning. It is the Greek word exogeomai. It's the word we get exegete from. It does not mean to execute. It means to draw out fully, to interpret clearly, and to make something known in its fullness. This passage literally says that Jesus has exegeted the Father. In other words, Jesus is God's own self-interpretation. He does not merely speak about God, he brings God into the open. This is why Jesus can later say in John chapter 14, verse 9, He who has seen me has seen the Father. What begins to emerge from John 1:18 is something profound. God is one, and yet within the life of God there is relationship, distinction, and shared glory. The God who cannot be seen makes himself known not by lowering himself to our speculation, but by revealing himself from within his own being. This is why the church has historically confessed that God is one in essence, yet more than one in person, equal within the Godhead, sharing the same divine nature, yet not collapsing into sameness. This is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be received, a paradox that humbles the mind and steadies the heart. And we call this mystery the Trinity, the paradox of one in three. A paradox in the Bible is a statement or truth that appears contradictory on the surface, but in reality invites us beyond human reasoning into faith, humility, and trust in God. And John chapter 1, verse 18 stands as a quiet but powerful paradox that the invisible triune God has made himself truly known, not partially, not imperfectly, but personally. It is profoundly humbling to think about. Well, before we close, let me remind you once again, if this was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out Fight for Joy at fightforjoy.net, where you'll find a whole lot of musings to help you grow in your faith. Until next time, keep fighting for joy, press on in your walk with Jesus, and keep looking up. God bless.